Can everyone stop being so obsessed with drugs? I know this video is going to perform above average.
A better you starts today.
Yeah, okay, you Blue Mountains trippers. I was once like you. For not that long, 12 hours. I've got to do a couple of provisos before I begin. No, this is not an excuse for you to take drugs, because I am drubs. Don't take drubs either. Isn't that amazing that the word drub... Do you know what drubbing is? It is an old-timey word for beating someone with a stick, especially in public, due to an large, angry mob. Take me back. It'd be so much better if we could sort out our differences of, this guy needs an old whack with the wet noodle, fellas. Psh, it'd be so much better. I seriously think that a lot of the problems in our society now is because you're not allowed to be public beaten anywhere. Even as a kid, that was the best time to get beaten. So, yes. That's my personal views on matters. So obviously somebody who still believes in corporal punishment would still think that I don't think that you should be doing drugs. I think that that is a terrible thing. There is a time and a place for it, obviously. And the time and the place is not your entire life. I hate this thought. Again, this is such a Greens voter thought that, oh God, recreational drugs, that's disgusting. That's disgusting that you like recreational drugs. No. You promoting recreational drugs is disgusting. That is a filthy, filthy habit, as are computer games, as is social media, as is some of the... Look, do I partake in these things? Yeah, but like, it's not a good thing. Not the drug stuff, I really don't, apart from this point here. And obviously I have issues with tobacco, but I don't see that as a good... I cannot believe... How weird is this, that their kind of view is like, oh my God, cigarettes are so bad for you. But vaping and weed, yay. What's your argument? That it kills less people? Yeah, well, that's awesome. You know what kills even less people than cigarettes? People that consume toxic waste. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here? Well, because one's better than the other? No, it's still bad. It is still bad. You should be breaking your habit. I've got a Jordan Shanks seminar that teaches you how to break habits, by the way. It is just, look, life is all about getting you to do a few basic things over and over again so that you become successful and everything else is a distraction, especially drugs. And I think that this is some of the wisest critiques of drugs that I've ever gotten, which was from my dad, who has no qualifications on the matter, apart from the fact that he spent his 20s on drugs. I think that this is the best piece of advice ever, which was, look, I've had friends that have lost their lives because of drugs. They've gone into psychotic states. There are other people that are just empty shells and can't live out a proper life. There are other people with severe health problems because of drugs. However, some people didn't. Some people survived it. Good for them. They have abnormal genetics. Their dad was a Galapagos tortoise, so they just live forever no matter what you throw at them. Yeah, okay. Those people are all well and good. And also my throat's very dry. He was one of them. He's fine. Well, he's a bit of a fucking idiot, but probably would have been without the drugs. But his main point was that drugs make you wasting time seem okay. Because when you're sitting in the room, you're going on a trip, man. This is the greatest time of my life. You're lying down doing nothing with your day. And because you're a druggo, you got to be doing it the next day. And pretty soon, you're 30. And while other people were squirreling away their nuts like the little squirrels they are, it's winter time and you're the grasshopper. That's why I think that drugs are bad. I think it's bad for the same reason that most of these things are bad. Put aside the health, put aside the mental health, focus on the main issue, which is that it distracts you from your dharma. Unless, of course, you live in the Blue Mountains and then your dharma is to take shrooms. Now, putting all of that aside, when people always say, it's a medicine, there's always going to be all these triggered stoners. I don't know why you're on a self-help channel. There's self-help and stoners shouldn't mix, but for some reason, I don't know, it's because their brain is like, just open to new ideas, man. One thing that they will always say is, it's a medicine, it's a medicine, it's a painkiller. Yeah, that's all well and good. You get as high as you want when you have terminal cancer. Go for it. Go for it. Like, your life is over anyway and you're just making the transition better. That's great. Yes, marijuana is a medicine, as are shrooms, I don't know. LSD seems like it's... fuck me. It seems pretty synthetic now that I think about it. But I don't know shit about it. Look, I don't know shit about drugs. All I know is that in certain circumstances... Dude, let's put it this way. Meth is a weight loss drug. And a hell of a one at that. Yeah. Look, all of those things are true. That's not the point. You can overdose on Panadol. Panadol's a medicine. Look, some pharmacist dickhead is going to be like, actually, it's not technically. Fuck you, it is. That's right, I know more about you than your fancy school books because I've got the experience of life. My head hurt and now it doesn't. Okay? So, putting all of that aside, yeah, I think that there's a time and a place for substances such as mushrooms. And I would say that time and a place is once every 10 years. That's just my personal opinion on the matter. I'm sure that there's other people that'd be like, I microdose every day. And look, maybe I'm completely wrong because I think that there are tech giant billionaire nerd bros that sit there and microdose their entire life. And I can see this transcript in my mind. I'm melding with the computer. I don't know. Like, I'm just saying from personal experience, I think that the benefit of mushrooms, and there's probably going to be a bunch of, trippers, that psychonauts, if you will, that will have much more detailed explanations in the comments, and please let me know if this is the case. But here's what I noticed when I did it. The reason that I did it is because there is a point in your life where you hit a dead end. These places exist. And when you do hit those dead ends, you know what it is? I think a lot of the time what it is because you become so rigid in your thinking, because this is part of the key to success. I always want you to remember this. Success and happiness are not the same thing. You know the whole Mr. Burns thing of success, family, religion, friends. These are the 3 demons you must slay if you want to succeed in the business world. There is some truth to that. If you want to be successful in life, that is not necessarily a guarantee that you are going to be happy. You can accomplish both with the right mindset. But the rudimentary task of success is repetitive and difficult. Not simple. It's very simple, but it's difficult. It's difficult to maintain the focus and the discipline and the willpower to push through. You get to a point, though, where, like how Albert Einstein says that you cannot solve a problem with the same level of thinking that got you into the problem, I think that what happens is that your brain becomes such a finely tuned machine that it does become an enemy of its own success. This is the point when I'm saying that you should be taking drugs. You should not be taking drugs when you're a bum. Take drugs when you have the cushioning and the money to pay for a nurse that could help you when you inevitably turn into a stupid vegetable as a result. Yeah? What's happening when you take these substances is that very rigid way of going through your life where you have all of these smooth little things that you figured out, that in this situation, I respond like this, I get this result. Yes, more bananas for the monkey. That's how your brain needs to be conditioned to be successful. That is the way that it works, because you need to be finding all of these little shortcuts in life. It's like how baseball players that are very good, what's happening is that they're making all of these little distinctions and calculations in their head so that when they see the ball coming, even though it's coming at, 5 billion kilometers an hour, they just go, They know which movement to make when they see the ball because they've got so many distinctions in it. That comes from unbelievable repetition and focus. As a result of that, your brain becomes very fine-tuned. What I think happens when you have mushrooms, I think that this is the main benefit of it. Again, psychonauts, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I experienced is that I intellectually understood that everything that happens in your head is sort of a theatre play. It's not reality. It is the Plato's Cave stuff. Nobody sees reality for what it is. We all just have this story that's happening in front of our heads that's animating us. And we're like, oh yeah, I'll just go out there. I need to get a top hat to succeed. Like, think about that. Like in the 1800s, if you were part of high society, everyone would walk past you wearing a top hat and they'd just be like, wow, that is the pinnacle of human existence because he has this stupid stovepipe. Beep, 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 beep. And if you walk past someone like that now, what do you think? Murder a bum. Huh? That's what I'm talking about. You have all of these things that you go after in life that you've sort of just dreamed and imagined need to happen. And like I said, Some of these dreams lead to success. Some of these dreams lead to failure. These are all beliefs. These are all values that we start embedding into our own mind frame. This is exactly why self-help is important, because it gives you the beliefs and values that make you successful. It's why you should also sign up to Jordan Shanks, because I can embed those beliefs in you on a daily basis if you do. But when you are in that mode for so long, what happens? Well, you start believing the dream. What I think mushrooms does, or did for me anyway, is it made me aware, not on an intellectual level, on an experiential level, that what was happening in my mind was sort of pre-programmed. You could feel the thoughts bubbling up from your lower brain, these habitual thoughts of, break down this thought. What's going on here? Why am I feeling this sensation? This tree looks very vivid. I don't know, whatever the fuck I was thinking at the time. The point is, I noticed that these thoughts are naturally bubbling up. And that the whole time that I was sitting there, because this is the way that my brain works, I want to know the minute detail of something that I'm thinking about. I want to break it down as much as I possibly can. So I'm sitting there trying to figure out what it is. What's going on that whole time? This was something that my partner noticed when she was high, because she had a different experience to it. But she was saying, you're always trying to figure things out. You're always trying to break it down. And I felt my brain doing that in real time. And then I asked my girlfriend what her brain is doing the whole time. And her brain is thinking about the future and planning in minute details. So we observed that happening. You sort of understand that that's what your brain's doing it, but you can see it happening in real time. And it is exactly the same as anything else in life. Intellectually understanding that an elephant exists is very different to going up to one in Thailand and it's like, You sure smell funny. No, I don't. It's a difference. The fact that you are able to sort of illuminate what your brain is doing at that time, you realize, oh, okay, so this is the play that I'm observing. This is the play that I believe in. This is the play that I have bought into. As such, it is a nice, fresh reminder that, God, I'm in control of this thing. I can switch things around. Not everything, obviously, but a lot. If I want to be thinking about something else, my life and experience will be extremely different. If I start thinking about something else, my life experience eventually will be very different. So it's up to me to decide which of those things are. All of your problems, all of a sudden, this is what's very interesting about it, your problems turn into thoughts. Think about that. Your problems turn from problems to thoughts. And if they're thoughts, they're not real. Now, look, obviously there are some things that are real. Like, you know, if you chop your leg off, you're probably just not like, I'm just imagining it. But then there are people that do chop their legs off because they imagine their life without a leg. The brain is a very powerful tool at convincing you to do things. And then your reality becomes that. What is very good about it is that when you get to these quarter-life crises, when you get to these midlife crises, I think it is the result of having very grooved-in patterns of thought. When you have that little shake-up in your brain, you realize, oh, they were all just grooves and patterns. A lot of this was just a myth. I can see them happening in real time. That's what I think. 2 years on, that's what I've taken away from it. That is the experience of that. It's the closest that I can say to it is, you know, instead of reading about elephants, I rode one in Thailand once. That's what happened there. And like riding an elephant every day, I don't think that you should be doing this every day, but I think that there are certain moments in your life. And I personally think that the reason that you should be taking them is when you fit into these. Now people are just going to be like, well, I'm in a rut because this day I'm not feeling good. That's a rut for me. Oh, tomorrow, yeah, I'm in another rut now. Okay, well, I could take it again. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you have accomplished your dreams, you need to be reminded that they're dreams. Yeah? That's when I think that they should be taken. It should be taken when you have your little vision board and all of those visions are there, and then you just need to be reminded again, because then you're just like, now what in life? You need to be reminded, that's all thoughts. That's all thoughts that have been grooved in. That's what we're talking about in terms of that mind-expanding experience. That's really what's happening. It's just shaking up the way that your brain has been rigidly conditioned to think. So that doesn't have to happen all the time. But there are points in your life where absolutely that can be an important tool. Now, speaking of important tools, you should sign up to Jordan Shanks because I can give you very, very good tips to succeeding in life. Incredible tips. Incredible tips. Things that I implement in my own life. Things that I implement in my own life, and I was looking at it the other day and I was thinking, my God, I become a goal-accomplishing machine. The amount of time... Look, to get to like my first vision board probably took me like 10 years. Now my vision boards is like annually. I'm just like bam, 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 right? It's pretty amazing. And it's because once you get these habits of success instilled into you, once you start conditioning these habits of success, I'm saying the exact opposite of what I was saying before, but it's true though. Like you want to succeed in life, you need someone just, paving a road in your neural connectors so that you think the way that successful people think all the time. Like it's a highway. Bam. I want to go there. That's why you should sign up to Jordan Shanks because it's giving you these reminders daily. Also, you should come see my seminar if you are in Perth or Melbourne. And I will see you next time. And also, winners don't do drugs, except very rarely. The nuance of life.